really by happenstance. We both came to Northwest when it opened, and library, English,
Yep.
natural pairing.
Yep, went together. So I moved here from Omaha to come to Northwest, and then Mrs. Ehlers, should I call you Sarah or Ehlers? I don't know. That's kind of like weird. I feel like I call you Ehlers most of the ways. It just kind of went and started showing me the ropes of how brand new school district worked, and went in anytime I had a question, I just got the answer.
That's kind of true.
Probably back at Drake. I mean, even farther back.
Yeah, so we became like actual conversant people when we were in college. I was a senior, I believe, and you were a freshman.
Yep.
At Drake. We were in the same music fraternity, and one of my jobs in the fraternity was to the education person who helped educate the new members, and Mr. Strohmaier was one of those new members. And so then after that, stuff we would do through Phi Mu Alpha, Symphonium. I knew of Mr. Strohmaier when he was a kid because he played on the same baseball teams as my brother. And so when we're talking like, I don't know, third grade, fourth grade, young, I was aware of the little Strohmaier kid who was on my brother's team. But then after we graduated and we started working at different schools, we would run into each other at competitions and always strike up conversations because we knew each other. And then once Mr. Strohmaier came over to Waukee, we just sort of rekindled at that point.
And then we've been doing this ever since fall of 2015.
2004, probably.
We might have met beforehand. You know, we probably were both at Iowa State camp at the same time. That's kind of, I think that's maybe we didn't officially meet, but we were in the same area. But going back to 2004, that's when we first officially met when we were at Drake. So
I went to Drake right out of high school, and then Coach P went to
I went to the Air Force Academy prep school out of high school, and then decided that wasn't for me, so I transferred back to Drake. And Mr. Ross here played a full football season, and then I came in that following spring to join the Drake football team.
She's my book buddy and my book twin. As much as she loves books that I hate, like when I'm not a horror reader, she's a horror reader. This is my least favorite reading month. Like, we love to read books together, to hate read books together, to talk about books together, to talk about life and everything together.
Yep.
Our ongoing text thread is like literally thousands of messages long at this point.
Don't look at it.
It's bad.
In that trend of like, can we look at your text messages or dance? We'd be dancing. Yeah, like for sure. I have never told you this, but when I first met Ehlers, I was actually scared. Like, I don't know if you met Ehlers, but like, she came in and she was like, so, about this, and I'm like, I'm just a goofy little librarian. I just you want some books, and like, Ehlers came in and I was like,
I do want some books, and here they are.
Yes.
I wish I could even remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
I don't.
So it would have been now 28 years ago.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, the fall of 1997 was when we kind of reconnected or connected really for the first time. So.
Yeah. I don't recall. Honestly.
Well, I thought he was kind of small. I didn't know how he'd ever work out, and then all of a sudden, he was pretty darn good, strong, fast, hard worker. So he ended up starting that first fall that we played together at Drake.
Going into the spring, I knew a few guys. Coach Pattis was one of our teammates, and a couple other guys. Connor Jossis, who's our quarterback. I knew him from track and other sports in high school, being Iowa guys. Mr. Ross was one that was guy with experience. Led by example, led vocally like Kanye does with being a principal here. And so, first person's, a great leader and someone that you want to follow, and a great person to be around.
All the books all the time forever.
Oh my gosh, I have to say, one of the things I always think about is we went and we read the sequel to Fourth Wing together, and we were like texting each other, and let me tell you, the last 50 pages of this book were so miserable, and I just like we're just texting each other back and forth, and we're just like tearing this book apart. And then I'm like, Ehlers, this was written by AI, and she's like, you're right.
Yes, that was how we were convinced it was a ChatGPT book.
Yes.
There's no way you write 2 500-page books in a year and then both of them be even moderately okay.
Prove me wrong.
It's
Prove me
true.
wrong.
It's true. We've done it again last fall with another book. We
Yeah.
might do it again this fall with another book. Who knows? It's kind of
Yeah.
our ongoing yearly tradition now.
But we really pick like cheesy books that
Yes.
we know are going to be kind of silly.
Ideally, Book Talk thinks
Yes.
they're awesome. So when Book Talk thinks they're awesome, we probably don't think they're awesome.
Contrarian for the win. We're different.
It's fun.
We also read good books too.
We do.
But sometimes we go and we purposely
Just
pick
for
a
fun.
book that we think we can go and we can like laugh at the ridiculousness of it.
Truth.
Oh, we've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
I would think. So obviously the trips that we take with the band are fun. You know, when we've gone to Pasadena and when we've gone to Ireland and those things. We're very lucky that we both have very supportive and understanding wives, given how much time this job takes. But they also like each other, and so it's not unheard of that we'll be off doing banding things, and our wives are together having coffee or breakfast or together, and we have hung out and spent time together, the four of us, countless times.
Yeah, and it's the school stuff, but it's also that other stuff. You know, we're both also big baseball fans, so you know whether it's hanging out and watching and talking about baseball, or taking it. You know, last summer we took a trip up to Minneapolis to watch the Cubs and the Twins play. You know, all of those things just become great cornerstones of any relationship when you can interact and develop friendships outside of school. It helps the relationship within school be all that much stronger.
Well, I don't know. I think just it's probably changed as the years have gone on.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome to be teammates. It was awesome to be on a good football team with a lot of really good guys. We were both, you know, good players in our own right. But he was the All-American and really one of the best players on our team. And our sophomore year, we won our conference title and conference championship game, and that was fun and memorable. But you know, then over the years, we ended up both going into the same field. At one point, we were both teaching, we were both coaching at different places, and so I always enjoyed like our relationship being teammates, and then kind of competitors. Like I coached at Waukee High School and he coached at Southeast Polk, but we'd still talk and just like share ideas and talk about what we're doing as far as like football goes. And then the opportunity to like bring it all together and be on the same team again at Northwest High School presented itself after our first year here, and I'm really glad we got him on board, and he works his butt off here at school. He probably spends more time here at school than anybody, but that's also not a surprise to me because it was exactly how he conducted himself when we were teammates 20-some years ago.
Yeah, just to add to that, just the memories of, hanging out. I go back to, I can go back to, us playing football, but just, being brothers at college, being at Drake, both of us grinding in the school of education. And then I still remember when Mr. Ross started dating Mrs. Ross and Drake, so those are some of the kind of the memories that you don't forget. And it's like, Coach Capatch, when he met his wife, I was with Coach Capatch. So those different things as teammates is like, you're truly a brotherhood, and you truly understand that, hey, football, life is bigger than football, but football brings people together. And so that's kind of the memories you remember. We had great successful seasons, and we were influenced by a great coach, and fortunately we had a lot of teammates that wanted to go on the field coaching. And going back to what Mr. Ross said was like, hey, even though we were coaching against each other, we were all for each other. We still showed love. I still remember when I was at Southeast Polk in my first and second year. Mr. Ross, when he was the head coach at Atlantic, he brought his staff over to Southeast Polk, and he just wanted to talk football. And if you ever want to get a football coach talking, talk football. And then the meeting will go probably from 5 minutes to 45 minutes easily. So that's some of the stuff. And then over the years, when he became assistant principal at Waukee, we always congratulated each other. I was fortunate, even though we play him this week, from my previous employment, I won a state championship with the football team. And the first guys that say congratulations were guys I coached against and stuff like that. But you know, we'd always collaborate and stuff like that, and we always, you know, had that communication. You know, even though this world seems very big, the football world is a very, very tight-knit, small community, and it's one of those where I'm fortunate where, you know, I had success playing, coaching, and now, you know, being able to be over here and where our football staff is at. You know, I was fortunate that Mr. Ross kind of reached out, and Coach Patch reached out to say, hey, you want an opportunity to come out here at Northwest, which I'm very pleased, and my family's very pleased to be out here too. So it's a kind of full circle moment where we start playing, you know, competing against each other, coaching against each other, but now, hey, we're working hand in hand with each other, have the same vision, have the same goals, and it's a beautiful thing.
I will add too, obviously we competed together as coaches, but he played offense and I played defense. He was a running back, I was a linebacker. So there was plenty of times in practice where we had a chance to get after each other and,
Yes.
and compete against each other, and that was fun too.
Absolutely. Like I think kids, when they like English department to library in general, it doesn't matter who in this department you're talking about, like kids just know we go together and we are friends and we support each other and we're in each other's classrooms, and you know, Tara comes upstairs and she'll help do mini lessons and we can come down here and we've got a space here, and kids just know that that is a safe place to talk about whatever you need with whoever you need to talk about it.
Yeah. Might scare them a little bit the first time they come down here, but
It's
we
a little
normally
intense.
warn them of like,
We're friends and it's okay.
we're friends and there's gonna be weird inside jokes that happen and we're gonna laugh, and sorry when we laugh and you guys look and go,
You guys are
weird. Yes. We just warn them, be like, it's fine, we're nerds.
Own it.
I don't
Why don't you
know.
take that? I mean, we both came from different positions when we were at Waukee. So my job at Waukee, I was not one of the full-time teachers in the school. I only came and did marching band and winter percussion. I was hopeful to come over and earn this job, and was lucky enough to do so. And I know you.
Yeah, it was. I knew that I was going to be at Northwest for a long time coming into this. You know, there were two of us that were full-time band directors at Waukee, and the other band director very much wanted to stay at Waukee, and I was interested in coming over and opening a new school and experiencing all the things that went along with that. Because of the unique position that Chad was in, he had been a full-time choir director many years ago before he left that and went to experience some other things, and then came back and had been working with the band for, you know, many years, but not as a professional, not as a full-time fully accredited band teacher. So when we opened up this job, it was, you know, Chad was in a unique place because he had all of this experience with the band, but also he had no experience, depending how you would look at his resume. So, you know, I certainly advocated for him to get this position, but I did not, you know, neither of us knew how administration was going to react when they stacked up Chad's resume against the resumes of the other people who applied for the position. You know, fortunately, I think, you know, he did get the job, and we've been working together here, you know, full time ever since.
I remember when it was in the years coming up to opening Northwest. I remember when I was in Mr. Strohmaier's office, and I said, you know, I'm thinking about wanting to get back into the classroom, but I want to come back on the band side and not on the choir side. And I'd be interested in when the new school opens, going over there. What do you think about that? Because if he had said, I don't think that's a great idea, or he had another person in mind, I perhaps would have gone a different direction. But he was always very like, yeah, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm. And then it was just waiting to see how the other powers that be would let that go.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, you know, when Mr. Ross started dating Mrs. Ross in college, you know, circa 2005, 2006, around that age. I don't know if it was going to last, but you know what? Mrs. Ross stayed with Mr. Ross. Kudos to her. So she was able to put up with him, like most coaches' wives do. Like Mrs. Phaydavong, she's my high school sweetheart. She was able to put up with me all these years. So if people thought we were going to stay together, you never know. So you never know. So.
I think so. Like, just the fact that we are together, 180, 590 days a year, like, it's like seeing a family that you don't have outside of this building, and it's a new connection with a new person, and it's people we eat lunch together every day, and we see each other like all the time, and I wave through the windows as I walk to my classroom. Like, it's just that kind of natural person you've got in the room, got your back all the time.
Yeah, when Mrs. Ehlers went on maternity leave, I was texting constantly, and I was like, I don't know what to do. It was, truly, I was like...
And I got Cute Baby in my Kindle, and I'm like, I'm just gonna read.
Yeah, and then she sent me back, and she's like, I'm reading and winning Beanstack, and I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna take you down. By the way,
I know.
I'm still the leader.
I know. It's birthday week. Birthday
Excuses.
week.
What's your excuse for the last 3 weeks?
Grading papers week. 85 House of Magnitude essays. That's right.
Excuses. Just so you know, she's in second. I'm winning.
It's true.
Yeah, I think, just if nothing else, for the fact that we're around each other so much and we are working towards common goals, both short term and very long term. So we're really in this thing together all the way along, and so whether it's specifically working on something or having conversations, both kind of surface level and very deep, about what we're doing and why we're doing and how it impacts the students that we have today, how it will impact the students that we have in 3 years and 6 years and 10 years. Just because you're around someone and you're having deep level conversations, it absolutely impacts the relationship that you have and the way that relationship develops over time.
Yeah, and we have those conversations all the time. We are constantly talking about program building and is this thing that we're doing working? Should we change it? How does it? All that sort of thing. But I would also say though that we it's been great to be able to go to work every day with someone who's a friend of yours. It could be, and we both know colleagues in our field who work with people that they don't necessarily wouldn't hang out with or even like maybe on the outside, and that can be really miserable. So we're lucky to have those common interests and kind of share that common goal and the common vision for the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously, again, being teammates, competing against each other, but sharing like the same values of working hard and being leaders on the team and either side of the ball. Like, we share a lot of things in common as far as all that goes. Then we continued, into our careers, did kind of the same thing in different places, and now we're here and in different roles. And of course, there's interesting parts of being friends with somebody and knowing somebody for 20 years, and then also being the principal in that same school. So I always have to make sure that, and the good thing about, working with somebody like Mr. Kopach, Coach P, Mr. Weiss, Mr. Ohl, all these people, even my wife, right, all in the same building, but I know those people from college. The good thing about all those people that are here is they're good at what they do, they're professional, so we're able to have the boundaries that are appropriate to make sure that we're all able to do our jobs the right way. I'm able to do my job the right way as the leader of the building. Nobody expects extra treatment because we've known each other that long, and if that were the case, then we probably wouldn't be working together, right? Like, we all work together and can work together successfully because everybody's good at a job and they're professional and they work hard, and so that's been an interesting dynamic, but also a fun one.
And to add to that, it's just, when you've been working for so long, you've been a professional, you just got, to take a quote from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I love me some WWE wrestling, you just got to know your role, as the head strength and conditioning coach, I know my role as the head strength and conditioning coach, but then, as a football coach, I'm an assistant, I'm not the head coach on the football, and it just, it goes back to being a family man too. When I'm at home, I'm definitely not the boss of the Phaydavong household. So it's just knowing your role and understanding and just being part of the team. It goes back to being teammates, knowing what you need to do and just doing your job correctly. And that's I guess that's why it's a big connection, because he can trust everyone that's from Drake that's here, because we know our roles, we know we can trust each other, and that's a beautiful thing, because it's nowadays there's a lot of people that can't trust each other, and so we know that, hey, I trust Mr. Ross being our building leader, building principal, he trusts me being the head strength coach and PE teachers, and that's part of why we work together and why we want to work together. So
finding a space to be people in addition to being educators, teachers, librarians, whatever your job is. Like, we have to have human connection and care about each other as people outside of this building at the same rate we care about each other and what's going on inside this building. And I think it's that balance of being able to be at work but step away from like thinking about work or thinking about grading or thinking about lesson planning and just like have fun, make a joke, tell a story, whatever, just a place to decompress and a person to do that with.
Yeah, and making sure, because I mean, we do have to be very careful of when we're planning lessons, like, and it's more me than Ehlers of keeping me on track of, no, we're doing this right now, because, and this is just true of me in general, but Ehlers helps me keep on track, and then after that, she's like, okay, now we can go and get ourselves off track.
We got 3 things done. Now we can go do something else.
Perfect.
I think it's a couple of things. It's first and foremost, it's not taking yourself too seriously, because this job can really, if you allow it to, it can chew you up and spit you out. We're constantly taking students and we're asking a lot of the students and pushing the students, and then they're going out and competing and we're competing, and there's just a lot that it can wear on you, particularly when you show up at 6 in the morning and you're here until 9 at night, or later. It can really wear on you if you let it. So keeping the right attitude about things, making sure that you do keep tabs on other things, keeping interests outside of here, and that you can share. That's an important thing as well, as you're trying to maintain that balance.
Yeah, we both recognize this, as time consuming as the job is, that there's times where we need to get apart, and because we spend so much time together, when the summer hits, we will go like, we just need to get away and breathe, and sometimes that's get away from just school, and sort of getting back to it. We have families on the outside, we have interests outside of this stuff, and then make sure we maintain balanced groundedness outside of the job.
But knowing your roles, but then also knowing that you have to make time for other people, your family and stuff like that, and knowing that I can honestly say, and Mrs. Phaydavong can agree with this, I don't do the best job making the most out of my family, but I try. If we're attempting, and it's just like students, they might not be the greatest at math or something, but if you attempt and you do your best at what you do, that's all we can ask for. And just understanding that we're going to put, as coaches and teachers, we're going to put more time in the areas that we love and we have interest in, and it's hard. So, but if you're tempting, I'm tempting at home. I'm spending more time. I'm watching shows with my son a lot more. This Saturday going to play 7-on-7 against his football team. I think that those are things that kind of show up and stuff like that. So,
I think the biggest part, again, and he alluded to it in the last question, is trust. Like, you just have to kind of, because we are running different ways, doing so many different things all the time, just basically trusting that everybody that here at the school is in it for the right reason, which is what's best for kids, and then doing your part of your job to impact kids in our community in a positive way is really important. And there's a lot of trust that comes into play when you're dealing with 100+ staff members and all the moving parts. You can't control everything and you don't know everything, so you have to have really great people like Coach P and some of the other people we've talked about, so that you can trust that even though you don't know exactly what's going on, it's going right, and that you got good people leading the way.